Oh, there we go. Greetings, humans, greetings, and welcome back to another fun-filled episode. That's right, the one, the only, that's right, Bear here, 29-year veteran of the woods. And today, oh boy, got a very fun-filled episode for you people here today. Not enough time to waste either gibbering or jabbering out there. So let's just go ahead, jump right on into it here. Actually, kind of coming off just a little bit of what we were talking about last week, about why we kind of support some of the campaigns out there. So let's go ahead, jump right on into a campaign that we have out there already. You know, it's kind of funny. It's kind of interesting for Bear here sometimes because it seems like every once in a while, maybe every couple weeks or a month, there's the campaign du jour out there that everybody's either talking about or wanting people to kind of look into and check out and whatnot. Let's see. Last week it was the Von Klaus. Von Klaus, we'll get to him in just a second, but what was that? Terror in the Trenches. And then, of course, this go around, we actually have Nosferatu, however you pronounce it, from Narwhal. So, once again, I mean, it's I don't want to say relatively easy. It's not as hard, I suppose, if you are a established artist with, X number of years in the comics book industry, and then you kind of go out there and try to make it on your own with the Indiegogo or maybe even a Kickstarter campaign out there. It's a little bit more of an easier sell, I suppose, if you could say, hey, I am so-and-so and I drew blah 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 for, Marvel or DC or something like that. And here's my new book, come check it out. A little bit harder with some of the up-and-comers that we have here. Of course, Narwhal here. I would throw in, let's see, Kyung Lee, Von Klaus, a number of these other, oh, well, I don't want to presuppose, but relatively unknown folks out there starting out brand new and actually doing a really good job, number one, and having some campaigns that really do well out there. So once again, it's why we support some of these folks. Good to see P Money here. Let's see. I'm out at an event, so I won't be able to stay, but real good to see you. Same as well, P Money. Same. By the way, before you go, real quick, was doing some. We're doing the archive. We're trying to back up a lot to the live shows here, so Bear's kind of been doing the archive here for a little bit. Sometimes when we get into the shows, Bear's kind of focused in on the show, and he'll do the chat and everything, but sometimes it doesn't quite click through. We were doing the one just the other night with I believe it was Lady P Money out there that drew the was it award winning or it placed somehow in the Titan fan art edition. So some good stuff there. I probably should have made more of a note at it at the time, but some good stuff there, P Money. So good to see you here. Good to see you here. And hey, you know what? If you can't watch the entire show, you can always come back and rewatch it later on. There you go. Beer would recommend watching it twice, just so you can bump up the number of viewers there. All right, what were we talking about? I don't know, but we're gonna get into Nosferatu, how do you pronounce it? Dracula, as it were. He says, this is from Narwhal here. He says, hello, Earthbound 2 readers. Who's read part 2 by... I apologize, Narwhal. I've been, a little bit under the weather for a little bit. Haven't gotten around to reading Earthbound 2, but when we do, we're going to try and put up Earthbound 2, probably versus Tatya out there. Kind of go through and kind of see which one is the best books. We usually try to put some of those back to back, but from Earthbound 1, it was terrific. So very much looking forward to Earthbound 2. He says, I'm still working on the shirts, but everyone should have gotten their books by now. If you still haven't, in a week or so, let me know. Still waiting on the shirt, by the way. Still waiting on that shirt. But that's alright. Actually, let Bear do the thing with the thing, because we can kind of read along with it. There were two different... Let me click off. Well, I can just click off of me here. There were actually a couple different emails that Bear got. Basically saying that the same thing. One was from Foreign Agent, one was from 499. Basically just kind of promoting the Nosferatu, however you pronounce it, book out here. But anyways, looks pretty good. Let's see. He says, continuing on here, Norwell says, thanks for your support, everyone. My new book, Nosferatu, goes live today. Actually, just a couple days ago. 100 years after the release of the original film comes the graphic novel from Narwhal. You can check it out at Indiegogo. He says, also available are hardcover copies of my nonfiction storytelling essay, Interactivity. So check that out. Thanks again. Narwhal out. Narwhal out. So there you go. Very much intrigued by this book here. Narwhal always does some really great stuff, and just kind of, you know what, as a kind of an artist, kind of just starting out and everything, he's actually getting a lot better. Each book gets a little bit better over time. So, pardon me here. Yeah, he does a really good job with that. There we go. I had to get a drink there. All right, let's see. We continue on because there is more. There's always more where Bear came from. Yes, indeed. So let me get to that. Because we got from one bear to another. I'm talking about Art T Bear. That's right. He says great new pages. He says, hi everyone. Hi Art. Hope life is treating you all well. Well, you know what? Living in the woods. You know what? It's an adventure out there. He says, we're plugging along with Black and White, but I thought I'd take a break and give you a glimpse of what the Black and White team and I have been working on. Actually, let me show that. Let me show that for you good people here. There we go, instead of just reading about it all the time. There we go. He says, we have a page from the stunning Pedro Ang for the High Octane Adventures. I think it is written by Von Klaus, if Bear's not mistaken. Which I believe you will agree is absolutely stunning. It is. Again, it kind of reminds Bear of maybe like a Saturday morning animation or something like that. That's kind of where this kind of fits in. I would say very kid friendly, just kind of going by the artwork or the art style, I should say. Man, oh man, those fingers look like they hurt on Whitney over there. Holy cow! All bent around. And he goes on. He says, and there's also a page from the main book. Let me bring that up. Here. There we go. Let's see. From the main book, done by yours truly, I'm assuming Art, which I hope you will agree came in looking like the characters are going to jump off the board. Oh my goodness, they're going to just jump right off and attack you. Let me, oops, gosh darn it. Let me do the thing with the thing here. And let's see if we can kind of expand this out, as it were. Let's see. A little bit more detail kind of coming along here. So very cool. It actually kind of looks like it might be taking place right after the end of book number 1 there. So let's see, Uncle, I forget the name, Uncle Yang or something like that. Whitney's uncle, and of course the how do you explain him? Kind of the head honcho there with Reed Blackett there behind the car there, and there of course you see Reed there in silhouette. Very cool. Whitney has a nice hug with the uncle there. Man, oh man, I tell you what, Whitney is definitely bootylicious. There you go. Definitely got some bootay on there. Yes, indeed. All right, so very cool from Art. Let's see, go on. He says, yes, I love this duo, and every day that I get to work on these pages is such a blessing. I only get to do this because of you and your support and little Timmy. So thank you. Yes, indeed. Have a great day, you guys. Art. And he says, also, P.S. Oh, and page 6 of the main book has its own tier. Very cool. Check it out and add it to your collection. It's probably already gone by now. Probably already gone, but that's alright. Going to a good home. I would assume it would be going to a good home. All right, let me get off of that. Very bootylicious picture there. Going on to your boy Zach, Richard C. Meyer out there. Very interesting. This is kind of he did a book called Is This You? I'm not sure if that many people were either aware of it or ended up getting it. It basically ran for I think 60 days, and then it closed, and then that was that. So a little bit different than what was happening with Expendables, where that campaign lasted a while, number one. And number two, I mean, the shipping, oh my goodness, it took forever. So he's very excited to bring the news. All books printed and shipped to the fulfillment center. Let's see, there was another update a little while back, I think, where he was saying something about... they had all the addresses ready to go at the fulfillment center. So once they got the books, man, they're going to be shooting them out. He says, hi everyone. Very exciting news. Narwhal has informed me that all three of his books, Is This You, 499, and POD, have been printed and shipped to the fulfillment center. He says, I just paid the fulfillment quote today, which means that fulfillment can begin immediately. Yes, indeed. After the fulfillment center receives the books. So apparently they've received them, and there we go. Or, excuse me, they've been shipped to the fulfillment center. So probably a couple days or something like that. But he goes on, he says, 2 months early. Yes, indeed. Thanks, Richard. So there you go. I'm sure he's just completely thrilled about that. Probably got a lot of feedback from the last campaign there with the Expendables. So hey, being able to get your book out, and I would probably say almost rushed to the backers there. I'm sure that will help out with some of the backers that had some issue from the other book. So there you go. Very good. Some very good news there from that campaign. All right, let me do the thing. With the thing, one of these days, Beer, we will actually do a professional show. Yes, indeed. All right, and finally, one of the campaigns that we've been keeping a little bit of an eye on out there is Oddity from Indie Dave Comics. He says, just a quick update. Okay, folks, another quick update for you. The artist print was approved by Sweens, that's their artist, and we are waiting for the fully lettered proofs for myself and Sweens to look over. Once we receive these proofs, orders will only be open for 1 more week before we shut down for good. So probably, I don't know, another 2, maybe 3 at the very most weeks there. So I tell you what, if you haven't checked out Oddity, now's probably your last chance to do it. So anyways, he says, I am spreading the word, for crying out loud. Thank you all for your support and patience. Most of all, the patience, Dave and Sweens. There you go. So some nice stuff there from Indie Dave Comics. Finally, hopefully, Oddity is finally going to be coming out here. It's been a little bit of a wait for Beer and probably a number of other people out there as well. So, all right, let's see. Let me go on to Beer with Beer for just a second here. Of course, you come for the comic updates and everything, but you know what you do stay for? One of the things that we stay for, one of the things that we, oh man, like a dog on a bone, is just not going to give up our commitment, not only to commit mischief, but also to talk about the wonderful world of NFTs in the blockchain. So we've got a couple of stories here. I tell you, Bear went through like a couple of episodes where there wasn't really that much crypto news out there, other than it taking a dive and everything. But there's not that many scams or people being robbed blind out there. There was about a 2 to 3 week period where people weren't being robbed blind. Although we got a story about that a little bit later. But first, these crypto enthusiasts. By the way, this is CNBC.com with Mackenzie Segalis, whatever. Who cares? These crypto enthusiasts are trying to raise $4 billion. Oh my goodness, to buy the Denver Broncos. Yes, indeed. So if you're an NFL fan out there, You can buy the Denver Broncos for the low price of only $4.4 billion. I'm not sure what billion is in Espanol. And the Denver Broncos are up for sale, and a group of crypto quote-unquote enthusiasts is aiming to raise more than $4 billion using a decentralized autonomous organization, or DAO, to make it their own. Yes, indeed. He says, you can think of a DAO, like a group of individuals acting in concert with no single leader. Ah, what could go wrong? What could go wrong? Unlike a normal pool of investors, DAOs rely on cryptocurrency technology to track and validate participation in the group, as well as to facilitate the inner workings of how to raise and distribute a large amount of cash. Yeah, about $4 billion. This group includes an eclectic mix, of attorneys, accountants, oh boy, software developers, man oh man, that's a party, pro athletes, and at least one mathematician. Well, hopefully the mathematician will tell them to, it's a terrible idea, save your money for something else. Oh, one of these people spearheading the cause is Sean O'Brien, a shashashashar who spent the over last decade in Cisco's legal department before leaving the corporate world to run a few small businesses with his wife. A shashashashar. A beer could make a joke there, but he's not. We know this sounds a bit crazy. Oh, there's actually a part after that, but Beer's not going to read that. Oh, we know it sounds a bit crazy, said O'Brien. The purpose, essentially, is to establish an infrastructure so that fans from all walks of life, can be owners of the Denver Broncos. What could go wrong with thousands of people trying to be owners of the Denver Broncos? The pro football team is valued at just under $4 billion and is expected to garner the biggest price tag in North American sports history. Trustees of the team said the statement that is the goal. Pardon me here. Excuse me. Let's see. Trustees of the team said in a statement that the goal is to sell the team by the start of the 2022 NFL season. O'Brien tells CNBC that the smart contracts, not those dumb contracts, but smart contracts, and crypto wallets are set up, but their DAO doesn't officially go live until the first week of March. So the Buy the Broncos cause will need to cover a lot of ground fast to have a chance. I'm sure it will go just fine. Nobody will be victim of any scamming or stealing or anything like that. But the crypto collective has a secret weapon in Colorado Governor Jared Polis. Oh my god, seriously. Who recently announced a plan to accept cryptocurrencies for state tax payments. You complete moron. On Friday, the pro-crypto lawmaker told CNBC he's on the sideline of Eth Denver, a major conference dedicated to dissecting the present use cases. I would like to see one, and future of Ethereum. By the way, we got more on that here in just a minute. That the governor would be thrilled if their efforts come to fruition. I'm sure he would. I would be excited to be part of it myself, said the governor. And the challenge will be it'll take a lot of money. But you know what? If your imagination is big enough, then it can happen. What a bunch of gobbledygook. And anything I can do to make it happen, I'd be happy to, continued the governor. To the Bitcoin volcano for you, sir. To the Bitcoin volcano. Metaphorically speaking, of course. They say this DAO is different. DAOs take coordination of resources on the internet to a new level. According to some guy, the co-founder of QuickNode, which provides blockchain infrastructure to developers and companies. Yes, indeed. They represent a new kind of organization, moving at hyperspeed, not just regular speed, but hyperspeed. Investor Cooper Turley, very interesting, who has helped build several popular DAOs, says they're like an internet community with a shared bank account. What? What could go wrong? Basically, a small group of people come together to form a chat group, and then they decide to pull their capital together using the Ethereum wallet. Nothing could go wrong with that. The Buy the Broncos contingent joins a long list of DAOs pooling funds to buy real-world assets. In 2021, Pleaser DAO bought a copy of the Wu-Tang Clan album once owned by Martin Shkreli for $4 million. In November 2021, a consortium of crypto investors formed the Constitution DAO, pulling together $47 million worth of Ether in a week to try and buy a rare first edition copy of the U.S. Constitution. Although the group didn't place the winning bid, the movement captured the world's attention and helped mainstream the concept of crypto crowdfunding. Yes, indeed. I mean, they completely failed, but that's alright. Constitution DAO's rallying cry was, "Wugga-buy! Wugga-buy!" Or, "We're going to buy it." To the volcano for all of you. But in fact, the thousands of investors who compromised that DAO would not have received would not have received fractional ownership of the document. Instead, they would have become holders of a crypto token known as People that would have granted them certain voting rights over the future of the document. So you're not even owning it. You put in your money thinking that you might have a fractional ownership of a rare constitution, but no, you don't. You only have a token that might give you some voting rights, possibly some point in the future. What do they say about people separated from money? Something along those lines. Constitution DAO was essentially a fundraiser for certain people. Yeah, I suppose so. Said Derek Sorensen, a mathematician and computer science PhD student at the University of Cambridge in the UK, who's advising Buy the Broncos on how to structure the DAO. Oh, lordy. It was kind of like, we'll raise money and we'll buy this Constitution. You don't own any of the Constitution or actually have any legal rights to anything about it, but you can vote on where we put it, but there's no legal guarantee. You will own nothing and be happy. Yes, indeed. Sorensen says that the Buy the Broncos DAO will adopt an entirely different governance structure. Oh, well, this ought to be good. Though the group will still fundraise in cryptocurrency, the idea is to give people partial ownership in which they will participate in deciding how the team is run. What could possibly go wrong? They also plan to form the group as a cooperative, similar to outdoor sports retailer REI, rather than an LLC, which they believe will exempt the owners from certain SEC regulation governing investing in securities, and also probably keeping away all the gun runners and drug dealers and your occasional, just the occasional human trafficker out there. You don't want to have too much interest in any of that. No, you don't. $4 billion seems like a lot of money. Though organizations like BitDAO, which currently has more than $2.3 billion worth of crypto tokens on its balance sheet, show that the effort is not entirely impossible. Well, you're still about halfway there. It's definitely possible in the world of crypto that sum of money is not unheard of. I'm very, very confident that this sum of money is absolutely doable in Web 3. Oh, good lord. To the volcano to you, sir. Though Sorensen gave the disclaimer that he is an academic mathematician and thus probably not the best person to assess the future success of business. So far, the Buy the Broncos cause doesn't have much traction. No, why? Its Twitter account had fewer than 50 followers at the time of publication, and O'Brien's last attempt to buy a professional sports team with the DAO were unsuccessful. To the volcano to you, sir. But the origin story of Constitution DAO had a similar tenor. Yeah, so you brought up a bunch of money, and you still couldn't do anything with it. 19-year-old Constitution DAO member Miguel told CNBC that Constitution DAO was started mostly as a joke. I'll say. He said that he and his friends saw an article about the Constitution going up on the auction block, and they started making memes about it. Ooh, the memes. From there, the effort snowballed. Yeah, snowballed right into nothing. Oh, we made a Twitter, went to bed, and the next day we had a bunch of followers. Well, you know what? I mean, in this crazy world, having a bunch of Twitter followers is really all you need. All you need. We started working with legal teams, museums, and Sotheby's to try and put it all into motion, and it ended up kind of working. Like when the rocket ship blasts off and, it goes up about 50 feet and then explodes. It kind of worked. I mean, you didn't get to the moon and everybody died, but, it got up a full launch pad, so it just kind of worked. The takeaway, don't be a freaking idiot and put any money into any of this. Oh, pardon me. Do not underestimate the underdog in the land of crypto. The Buy the Broncos group has a pretty solid plan B. Let me guess, is it taking all the money and running to a Caribbean country that doesn't have any extradition to the United States? We'll see. We'll see. Organizers tell CNBC that the more realistic goal is to raise about 25% of the money needed to place the winning bid, and from there join forces with a consortium of more traditional buyers to make up the difference. So your 10,000 buyers that are going to be in with the Buy the Broncos DAO are going to go in with other buyers to dilute the amount of, ownership. So what exactly are you doing here? And I don't think they know. I don't think they know. Even if the Buy the Broncos DAO fails, which it will, let's see. O'Brien, he is optimistic that the effort will spread awareness. Oh, thank God. Yes, all we need this day is more awareness being spread. I mean, because people just aren't aware, so we need to spread that. Even if it completely fails, even if the 2 point whatever billion dollars is funneled out and spent by some Ukrainian mafia out there or something like that, it's spread awareness. That's all right. Well, having a fan-owned Denver Broncos and a DAO-based system would be amazing. That isn't our final goal. It's world domination, isn't it, O'Brien? Isn't it? We want this effort to essentially open up people's eyes to what DAO can do in the real world. Well, if it can't get the Constitution or the sports team, it probably can't do a whole lot. And make a tangible connection between this Web3 life to the volcano. In the real world. Well, there's one thing, which is the real world, and then the Web3 life, which is not, which is completely fake. Our thought is that it accelerates the DAO adoption for solving real-world problems, such as food scarcity or unhoused peoples. What? What? Alright, whatever. But as the dummy governor over there in Colorado points out, it sure would be good if these crypto enthusiasts could seal the deal. I can't play favorites, obviously. Whoever buys the team, we're totally, as a state, we want to have a good owner. But this would be really noteworthy for Colorado if they could pull this off. Well, how about instead of asking the Colorado taxpayer to pay for a giant stadium that only a small percentage of the people go to, maybe have some of these DAO people pay for a stadium. That would be nice. That would be nice. Let's let the millionaires and billionaires with their own little sports teams. Let's let them pay for all that stuff and not the public. I think that would be a good start. A good start. The next start would be throwing everybody involved in this article into the Bitcoin volcano. To the Bitcoin volcano for all of you. All of you. All of you people, I tell you. Anyways. There we go. I tell you what, you need a drink after all that. A very stiff drink. Alright, well, Bear was saying that, there wasn't that much, graft or stolen items or anything like that in the past couple of weeks. Well, the streak at 2 weeks, 3 weeks maybe. We'll give him 3 weeks. We'll give him 3 weeks before anything was completely stolen out of their accounts. $1.7 million, just a small, tiny amount. I mean, this is like a fraction of the like $4 billion that they were trying to raise there. At 1.7 million. By the way, I apologize. This is the Verge and Russell Brandom. Russell Brandom. Let's go, Brandom. 1.7 million in NFTs were stolen in an apparent phishing attack on our the good people over there in open seas. 254 tokens were stolen over roughly 3 hours. Goes on, it says, on Saturday, attackers stole hundreds of NFTs from OpenSea users. How could that possibly be? Causing a late-night panic among the site's broad user base. Pardon me here. A spreadsheet compiled by the blockchain security service Peak Shield, great job, by the way, guys, counted 254 tokens stolen over the course of the attack, including tokens from Decentraland and not the Bored Ape Yacht Club. Why? With the bulk of the attacks taking place between 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. There you go. Just in time for a late dinner. Molly White, who runs the blog Web 3.0, is going great. Big shout out there to Molly White, doing some great stuff out there. Estimated the value of the stolen tokens at more than $1.7 million. Holy cow. OpenSea initially said 32 users had been affected, but later revised that number to 17. Complete idiots, saying that 15 of the initial count had interacted with the attacker, but not lost tokens as the result. That's nice. The attack appears to have exploited a flexibility in the wyvern. Come on, people. Can we just name something that has like a decent name that everybody can pronounce? Whatever. The protocol, the open source standard underlying most NFT smart contracts. Oh boy, that ought to be fun. Including those made on OpenSea. One explanation described the attack in 2 parts. First, the target signed a partial contract with a general authorization and large portions left blank. With the signature in place. What? The signature in place, the attackers completed the contract with a call to their own contract, which transferred ownership of the NFTs without payment. Oh my goodness. In essence, targets of the attack had signed a blank check, and once it was signed, attackers filled in the rest of the check to take their holdings. Oh my god. To the Bitcoin volcano. Okay, who signs a financial contract without the conditions in place? Why would you put your signature to that? Even though it's a digital signature, I understand that. But you wouldn't sign a legal contract without knowing what's in the contract. Oh my god, these people, you all deserve the volcano. I checked every transaction. Said user who goes by Nesso. Oh, Nesso. We all know Nesso. They all had valid signatures from the people who lost NFTs, so anyone claiming they didn't get phished but lost NFTs is sadly wrong. I don't know where you're going there with that. They whatever. Valued at $13 billion in a recent funding round, OpenSea has become one of the most valuable companies of the NFT boom. Well, because they're the sole source for all this stuff being sold. So your decentralized Web3 has been centralized pretty much on OpenSea for the selling of NFTs. The other one was is it Mines? I think it's Mines. We did that story a couple weeks back. A complete scam. A complete total scam there. Yeah, the 2 places that they have going are centralized. I don't know. Let's see. Providing a sample interface for users to list, browse, and bid on tokens. This is OpenSea. Without interacting directly with the blockchain. That success has come with significant security issues. No. As the company has struggled with attacks that leveraged old contracts or poisoned tokens to steal users' valuable holdings. Well, hey, you know what? You should be secure, right? I mean, what could go wrong? OpenSea was in the process of updating its contract system when the attack took place, but OpenSea always completely denied that the attack originated with the new contracts. No, couldn't have been. And the relatively small number of targets makes such a vulnerability unlikely, since any flaw in the broader platform would have likely been exploited on a far greater scale. Ah, well, you got something to look forward to there. Ay, 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 ay. Still, many details of the attack remain unclear, particularly the method attackers used to get targets to sign off on the half-empty contract, you complete morons. Rating on Twitter shortly before 3 a.m. OpenSea CEO, try saying that 3 times fast. Devin Fisner, whatever, said the attack had not originated from OpenSea website. Deny. Its various listing systems or any emails from the company. The rapid pace of the attack, hundreds of transactions in a matter of hours. Oh, what a rapid pace! Suggests some common vector in the attack, but so far, no link has been discovered. Yeah, it's a total mystery. We'll keep updating as we learn more about the exact nature of the phishing attacks, says Pfizer on Twitter. If you have specific information, that could be useful, please DM OpenSea support. I'm assuming that on Twitter. There you go. Well, actually, I do. Beer doesn't have Twitch or anything like that, but I could probably Beer could probably give you some information. Your website that you guys run are a completely centralized hub for a bunch of nefarious actors to take people unsuspectingly just trying out some of the NFT stuff. Basically, it's a giant vector for them to attack. If it would be decentralized, I think it might be a little bit better, but no, we're all centralized on the open sea. So, what could go wrong? What could go wrong there? Anyways, we were talking a little bit about that. Russell Brandom from The Verge. The Verge. There you go. All right, finally, we got this last one here. I know everybody is just bated breath out there, but that's fine. We kind of come to this because this is the Ethereum co-founder, the fella with the purse. We talked about him a little while back. Says that the crypto builders would welcome. I would welcome a bear market, but is that the one where they sell the rugs of bears? I hope not. I hope that's not. Crypto builders would welcome a bear market. It would clear out less viable apps, such as. What's the viable app, I would ask? Let's see. By the way, Market Business Insider and Adam Morgan McCarthy. Wow, that's a name. Ethereum co-founder, speaking of names, Vitalik Buterin, I don't know, says that many crypto developers wouldn't be unhappy. That's a double negative. Let's see. Has said that many crypto developers would be happy to see a continued slide in the price of digital currencies, as the slump could clear out all those complete morons that decide to buy in at a high price. I meant less viable projects. Cryptocurrencies have fallen just a little bit, just a tiny bit, in recent weeks alongside stocks, as investors grow more cautious about taking risks. No. Giving persistent rises in inflation, expected interest rate hikes by the Federal Reserve, and geopolitical tensions. By the way, if Bitcoin, if cryptocurrency is supposed to be a sort of hedge against inflation, shouldn't it be going up? If inflation is going up, shouldn't the prices of the inflation hedge be going up? You would think so. But the prospect of more losses and a bear market, and generally where prices fall 20% from a recent high, probably relatively common for some of these things here. 20% won't deter some of the crypto world. The people who are deep into crypto, we call those people crazy, especially building things. A lot of them would welcome a bear market, he said. Ethereum's native token, Ether, has lost 35% year to date, down from 3,700 at the beginning of January to 2,600 at last check on Monday. So once again, if you didn't listen to Bear, and you decided to buy some ETH, you wanted to get some ETH out there, and you paid the high price of 37.22, you lost just a little bit there. You lost just a little bit, according to Coin Market Cap data. A leading cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, is down 19%. There you go. When crypto prices are rising and in a bull market, that attracts huge amounts of attention and encourages, let's underline it here, people, speculative thinking around using crypto in projects, he says. On the other hand, falling crypto prices separate the curious from the serious, he argued. That's why a crypto winter could be seen as a positive. So once again, the founder of Ethereum wants the price of Ethereum to go down. So I'm not sure how well that's going to be for some people out there, but there you go. This is why we talk about some of this stuff. So if you do listen to the channel, maybe you got a little bit of a leg up there. The winters are the time when a lot of those applications fall away, and you can see which projects are actual long-term sustainable, like both in their models and in their teams and people. Name one. Name one. I will wait. Let you name just one that's long-term sustainable. Um, Anyways, NFT Marketplace, OpenSea, oh, we were just talking about them, is one example of a project that made it through the last crypto winter. It was founded in 2017, just days before the crypto prices crashed. That only happened one time. Excuse me. Pardon me here. But in January this year, it hit 1 million active wallet users and a valuation of $13 billion for the first time, having managed to hold on through the market trough. Buterin wasn't sure whether the crypto market was already in a new winter of losses or whether it was just mirroring moves in other. Let's just underline that for just a second. Mirroring moves in other assets as digital currencies draw more mainstream investors. So basically, what they're talking about here, gosh, I wish I had the chart that kind of went with it. I forget if it was the S&P or maybe it was the Dow or one of those. You basically could track. I think it was Bitcoin, it might have been Ethereum, one of those two. You basically could track the up and downs of the market, and it went right along with your Ethereum, Bitcoin, whatever. You'd figure if it was completely decentralized, right? It's decentralized. Web3 out there. It would not follow along with it. If the stock market went down, you'd figure that crypto would hold steady or rise or something like that. No, it mirrors what the market is out there. So what that means is a lot of institutional investors, your banks, your that sort of deal, hedge funds, that sort of deal. They've basically got their tentacles in all this sort of stuff. So really, the next group of investors, some might say suckers out there, they're relying on the retail market. So they're relying on Joe and John and Mr. and Mrs. Smith out there. They're relying on them to buy in. So yeah, when it goes up, it's great, but when it goes down, sell, sell, sell. Except for the hodl people. Those people are crazy. All right, let me grab something here. There we go. It does feel like the crypto market kind of flipped the switch from being this niche group. Oh boy, here we go. That's controlled by a very niche group of participants, and it's fairly disconnected to traditional markets into something that behaves more and more like it's part of the mainstream financial markets. So once again, kind of let the cat out of the bag, as it were, saying the quiet part out loud. If it was decentralized, it wouldn't be controlled by a very niche group. Basically, Bear's kind of thought behind it is, we need to get away from, some people are big into getting rid of the Fed or something like that. So, we're gonna go into Bitcoin and get away from all that stuff. Well, you're going away from a system that's controlled by a niche group of individuals to another group that's controlled by a niche group of individuals. So you're replacing one evil with another one there. So I shouldn't say evil. You're replacing a very bad thing with another bad thing. The losses for cryptocurrency have come alongside sharp drops for the US stocks and techs in particular. Yeah, they're way overpriced. Which are suffering from a wave of risk aversion. What? Brought on by rising inflation. Once again, if your cryptocurrency was a hedge against inflation, here's your ringing bell that it is not. It is not. the prospect of a hit to the economy from an unexpected Federal Reserve interest rate hike, and geopolitical tensions around the Ukraine. Yes, indeed. We're just going to blame everything on Ukraine. Everything. Inflation, Ukraine. You know, nothing on the store shelves, Ukraine. Um, uh, uh, Brandon out there, completely falling over and falling onto his face. That's Ukraine. Pretty much everything. We'll just blame it on Ukraine there. Yes, indeed. Actually, Bear would say one thing here that he was talking about here. I would agree. I would agree with a little bit of this as far as the price of Ethereum, um, with it being so, let's just call it high. With the price being so high out there, people that want to get into the Ethereum and do, let's just call it, their DAOs, their NFTs, whatever the thing that all this stuff is supposed to be leading up to. If it is way more expensive than what it is to kind of play around. Let's just call it a program. You're trying to put a program on top of the layer of Ethereum out there to do whatever. Let's just say automatic ledger system or something like that. Um, to be able to play around with that, see how it works, how it doesn't work, bug fixes, holes in your security, all that sorts of stuff. You don't want it to be so expensive that if you play around with one of the blockchains and it just doesn't work, you're not losing a whole lot of money. So with it being so high, it's probably taking a number of people out of the market that would want to be, as far as a technical aspect of it, how it's going to fit in with the Web 3.0 and all that beautiful, glorious stuff that they keep talking about, but just really hasn't come to pass. So I would agree that Bear believes that it's way overpriced anyways, but it does need to come down to make sure that whatever use case that they are going to bring out of this, Bear's still waiting, that people can kind of play around with that and figure out what works, what doesn't. With it being so high in price, people are kind of reluctant to try new things because failure would cost quite a bit of money there. So, anyways, very interesting that the co-founder here is wanting a downturn in the Ethereum market. probably doesn't give a whole lot of confidence out there for some people when your founder out there or co-founder out there is saying, yeah, it's way overpriced and it should come down quite a bit. So probably wouldn't want to hodl very much longer. Very much longer. That's Bear's opinion. That's Bear's opinion. Yes, indeed. Yes, all right. Let me get out of this. And back to the bear. That's right. Back to bear. There we go. Very cool. Very cool. Um, actually, I was going to mention the crazy stuff that's going on in America's Top Hat up there, but actually just coming on live here, apparently they pulled some of that stuff away, but we're still cheering on some of the people that are locked up because they were trying to commit mischief. I tell you what, how dare you commit mischief? Can't do that. You can't do that. All right. Well, once again, everybody, Beer thanks P-Money and everybody else that decided to show up here. A little bit of kind of a shorter show. We did some campaign updates. Oh, some joyous Bitcoin updates. But yeah, very much wanting to get back on track here. Hope to do a comparison here with what was it, Tatia and Earthbound 2. I want to kind of put those head to head, see which one kind of comes out. Like he said at the very beginning, we're doing some archival stuff out there, so if you want to check out, let me write it down here real quick. 1 second here. Get you do the thing. Barely Live is the archive channel if you want to check out some of the older live episodes. We're starting to put some of this stuff private, so we're starting to take off some of the live shows, but they're all over on the other channels. So if you want to go check those out, but yeah, it's been kind of interesting going back through some of the older episodes there and kind of, hey, you know what? We were talking about NFTs or cryptocurrencies a couple months back, and yeah, pretty much what Bear was saying back then turned out to be the truth. So yeah, you don't necessarily watch this show for what's happening. It's what's going to happen. I mean, I tell you what. I think we were talking about Nosferatu, however you pronounce it. What, a couple weeks back when Bear was opening up the Earthbound 2 box. So I tell you what, we're definitely ahead of a lot of folks out there. So once again, want to thank everybody out there for checking out the channel. Oh, by the way, just very quickly, we were talking about the archive channel. Sometimes we're going to put on some different, I guess you'd call them kind of clips or snippets of some of the older shows here on the main channel. We put up a sort of campaign update from a year ago of what was it called? Damn Drops, how do you pronounce it? He is I guess what you'd call a fast food critic out there, Mr. Dame out there. And, they made a comic with with Kanan White, Antonio Bryce. It's way late. They didn't make a whole lot of money out of it, and I'm not sure if people are going to see that one. So, anyways, it was a very interesting look back. Some of this stuff. So, pardon me here, bear's burping. So it's very interesting to bring some of that stuff, just kind of as short clips and whatnot, onto the main channel here. So if you see some more of those, why is Beer talking about this old campaign? And we're just bringing some stuff up for you good people to check out. All right. Well, once again, I want to thank everybody for showing up. Hope to do this again on Saturday. So look forward to seeing everybody there. All right. Well, once again, everybody, all of this talk has made Beer hungry. So he's going to head back into the woods. That's right. So until next time, grrrrr.